Hello and welcome back. This is our third video in our series on anxiety and panic attacks. This was going to be the last, but I've decided to separate self-help for anxiety and panic attacks because they're slightly different. So far we've identified the very real and very unpleasant physical symptoms anxiety can cause as your brain tries to alert you that something is sabotaging your peace, safety, and stability. Next, we talked about how if you want to be able to help yourself, it's imperative that you can believe and accept this without shame or judgment. It's so important to let it be real and have compassion for yourself when life subjects you to mental strain or when you're overwhelmed, when you just feel burned out. This willingness to consider all possibilities for what's going on with you will allow you to build self-awareness. That will enable you to establish that checkpoint we were talking about, where you can pause and more objectively evaluate yourself. Now, I've got to throw in a disclaimer here and remind you that it's important to know the signs and symptoms of acute physical crises like heart attacks, and always seek medical attention if you think you may be experiencing one. Okay, so more about that checkpoint. Now that you've learned common physical symptoms that correspond to anxiety, you can evaluate the set of symptoms you're experiencing and allow yourself to consider the possibility that anxiety is trying to take control of your life. Let's start with dizziness. People can feel dizzy from low blood sugar and need a snack. People can feel dizzy at the onset of a cold or if their ears are blocked up from something as benign as allergies in any season. If you're one of those guys like me who's basically allergic to being alive, you can brush up against a leaf and get hives, or look at a dust mite and get sinus and ear problems. An ear that cannot drain properly will make your equilibrium wonky and make you dizzy. So, just a side note, I found that Advil Cold and Sinus work best for congestion stuff. Specifically the Advil Sinus you have to show your license for and get from a pharmacist because people like to make meth with it. Don't make meth with it. Anyway, anxiety can also cause dizziness. It's notorious for making us hold tension in our chest, and sometimes we're actually holding our breath without even realizing it, or breathing very shallowly. Your brain understandably feels threatened when it's not getting enough oxygen, so it catches your attention by making you dizzy. So, dizziness, shortness of breath, sweating, trembling, total stress response. Headache, blurred vision, feeling spacey, and the symptom that makes us least likely to remember to consider anxiety, chest pains. They get your attention. According to Healthline.com, chest pain from anxiety tends to be more localized and sharp, and it comes and goes like a muscle spasm, while heart attacks radiate. They're often duller and may be accompanied by vomiting. This moment of dizziness or heart pounding or feeling panicky is where you must learn to throw a flag. Stop the game, pause the time clock. Something is wrong. We're going to call step 1 of anxiety self-help the flag phase. And spoiler alert, this is going to turn into an acronym. Okay, so flag is thrown on a play. You know something's knocking you off baseline and you want to see if you can find the source of it. If it's a medical crisis, the symptoms understandably would cause you to feel worried and vulnerable. But ironically, if something is going on in your life that's making you feel worried or unsafe, that can cause the symptoms. It's a chicken or the egg thing. We want to give ourselves the best shot of being able to evaluate this rationally, and that's where the next step comes in, breathing. So now our acronym is up to FB. Don't underestimate the control that can be regained during focused breathing. Focusing on effective breathing technique lets you play an active role in creating a calmer mindset. It stops any breath holding that may have been happening and restores your brain to proper oxygenation for clearer thinking, and it helps dizziness to subside. I think I covered relaxation breathing in video 10 or so maybe, so it's camped out on DHQ, but just to recap, here's how to use 2 minutes to keep your mind from spiraling away from you when you're plagued with anxiety. Here's how to take control back. First, here's how to take a drink, sorry. I can't help it, it's a long time. Okay, so you would take a breath in slowly through the nose, taking a full 4 seconds to inhale. And you try to breathe into the belly, not the chest. Physiologically, chest breathing mimics fight or flight breathing, while belly breathing mimics that which we do when we're asleep or relaxed. And it works the opposite way. Choosing to belly breathe signals your brain that it's okay to relax. So, you breathe in through your nose for 4, hold for 4, and out your mouth for 4. Slowly, deliberately, concentrating on your breath and on the rhythmic counting. If you truly focus inward on what you're doing, you can restore your vitals, build awareness, and lower your anxiety. Breathing is usually an unconscious process, but by making it a conscious effort for a short period of time, we can actually build control over our stressors. And from this calmer state of mind, we can be more objective, look within ourselves, and take an honest look at what might be stressing us out. We'll call this step introspection, making the acronym FBI, Flag, Breathing, Introspection. And remember, go into this step with the intent to be compassionate and not judge yourself about what you should or shouldn't be upset about. Just let it be real. It's not fair for us to decide if a feeling is justified before we accept that we're feeling it. A feeling is automatically justified because you're feeling it. There's a great sense of relief the moment the light bulb goes on and you see the correlation between what's been subconsciously troubling you and how you feel. Okay, next, identify any negative beliefs you have about yourself and the situation. Negative thoughts are a form of fear and serve to strengthen anxiety, while revealing them weakens anxiety. And now, you challenge those negative thoughts. What do you know about yourself and the situation that disproves the negative thoughts and beliefs? Often we end up realizing that when we bring things to conscious thought and look at what is actually the case, we can diffuse a great deal of the fear. It's good to remember that left unchecked, anxiety is a feeling that fuels thoughts and beliefs. It doesn't control what is, it can just take control of your thoughts and feelings about something. The road to peace is paved with awareness, understanding, and control. So now that you're seeing the root cause of your anxiety, and you've looked at it calmly and rationally, it's time to decide which factors of the issue you can control and which you cannot. Are there factors for which you can take an active role in resolving? Identify those, and you can regain some control. And remember, worrying isn't an action you're taking. It's a state of mind, and it resolves nothing. Are there factors which you do not have control over? Taking a moment to deliberately realize that rids you of the feeling that you should be doing something about it. We must accept those things we cannot change. And with this one, we gain control the moment we make a choice to mentally let these things go. It's not that they disappear, it's that you can choose not to be shackled to them. An issue might revisit you in the future, and that's when you can reevaluate it and maybe do something about it then. But if you have no control over it now, you need to let it go. And then you can ask yourself, has this process decreased my anxiety at all? Has the situation turned out to be not as bad as I had feared? And of the things you were able to see, and you came to realize, what helped you the most in terms of reducing your anxiety? That's a great thing to make a note of, because when anxiety revisits you, and it will, you can choose to focus on this fear-diffusing thought and get a jump start on restoring your own peace. Be well.